everyone. Welcome to Sorry You Went Viral. This is the podcast where we talk about the stories that everyone's sharing and what it's really like to go viral. My name's Hannah.
And I'm Tim. And let's start off with having a look back at what went viral this week. And Hannah is starting off with a one which actually is a slightly older story, but the background to it actually, the expose came this week. And it's about celebrities in pubs. And yeah, I just found... Sorry.
One in particular.
Indeed. Kim Kardashian. So this post from a guy called Ewan went viral this week when he was flicking through his mate's Instagram stories and saw Kim Kardashian in a pub on St. Patrick's Day drinking a Guinness. And
holding a Guinness, we should say, holding a pint of Guinness and then holding a little shot of Guinness, like a baby Guinness as well. No actual evidence that she's drinking it.
That's true. And this got 10 million views on Twitter alone, this tweet. But it wasn't exactly what it seemed. It came out later on that actually, in fact, she was filming it for a reality show. You can see, hopefully there, you can see the camera, the lights, the camera behind the bar. So again, just showing that everything may not be as it seems, but also that it seems to be the normal. Being normal is the new reality show star thing to do, it seems.
Yeah, so she had put out on her social media to her millions and millions and millions of followers, you know, enjoying a pint this Paddy's Day or something like that with my mate down the pub. I assume she's in the UK somewhere, or maybe she's in Ireland. I'm not sure, but let's assume she's in the UK. So she's sort of saying, this is me just being normal, this, you know, billionaire woman just down the local. And then obviously, as you just said, this next shot shows that she's actually filming for Keeping Up with the Kardashians season 110 or whatever they're on right now. And and they've got a full crew there. There might be some other just general punters in there, but it doesn't look like it. I think everyone is there as part of the crew, the film crew. So it's not just like she's the average Joe down the pub. Although the fact that she's kind of like tried to sort of sell it in that way is quite interesting, I suppose. It's just like, well, actually, before she was kind of the, you know, the influencer out of reach kind of publicity, you know, as in like, I live this lifestyle, here's me on my super jets and super yachts and all the rest of it. And now it's like, oh, here's me just sort of being a bit normal. And I don't know whether it's a kind of a reaction to cost of living crisis or something, which presumably hasn't hit her that hard, but maybe she's responding to what her fans are going through and what people are interested now. And they just want to know that she's a bit more normal and less out of touch, possibly.
Indeed, and I think what was really interesting about this, again, what went viral was this post. Again, if you're watching on the video feed, you can see it's the post of her with the pint of Guinness, and then she has a little baby Guinness shot afterwards.
And the tiniest waist I've ever seen in my life as well. For anyone who can see further down on that shot, and we all know she's tiny. But yeah, it's quite ridiculous. I think that pint of Guinness is bigger than her waist.
But but again, what went viral was this post, the follow up from a guy called Dan, which we just showed. That got a few hundred views, a few hundred likes. It's people again. It's they engage with what's the thing they want to enjoy, not actually necessarily the reality of what's happening behind the reality show. Talking of nonsense is, again, something which took social media alight, was this picture, which started again on Reddit this week, of the Pope looking like he's wearing a huge puffer jacket. And I saw on social media some great puns. Pray Another Day.
Pray Another Day was my favourite.
Pre-17.
My favourite.
Again, for the younger audience who may not remember he's 17, but I thought these were great. But again, not what it seems. And to be fair, credit to Chris Stoker-Walker from who wrote this piece for BuzzFeed. It showed exactly what happened, and this was posted on a Reddit forum, and like many things that go viral, got picked up on Reddit and then went viral on other social platforms. And basically, a guy just created it in an AI artwork piece of software called Midjourney. Just did it for a laugh, really, and thought it was funny to see a Pope in a funny jacket, he said. And it went crazy. And he,
did him in a couple of different jackets, didn't
Yeah.
he? So he was just like sort of this sort of gangster Pope look. Yeah.
And I think he regretted it, really. I don't think he realised it would go this crazy. And I think he's a Catholic himself, and he was worried about the backlash to the Pope. And, interestingly, he says, he actually told Chris that he thinks this whole AI artwork and AI voice, the ways people are using AI to, manipulate famous people, he's saying he thinks it's actually got to be regulated now as well. We've both got young children, but this is a difficulty when you have older children. Was this brilliant video, again picked up on Twitter, of Sofia Coppola's daughter, who basically isn't allowed social media, but still somehow posted this on TikTok, and he went crazy. So let's have a quick watch of this now.
Vodka sauce pasta with me because I'm grounded, because I tried to charter a helicopter from New York to Maryland on my dad's credit card because I wanted to have dinner with my girlfriend. Okay, let's get started. I don't know the difference between a garlic and an onion, and I just had Google images of onions on my phone, and
I mean, it's just brilliant from the very start. Was it like a vodka pasta sauce she's trying to make? She doesn't know the difference between an onion and a garlic, which in her defense, I would say, I think she's got a shallot there. And they can be confusing to the sort of like untrained eye, perhaps. But absolutely amazing. As far as I know, her entire TikTok has been deleted. Her account's been deleted by her parents, her, famous parents. I think her dad's in a band, and her mother, obviously a famous filmmaker and actress, as well. So I think she says in there as well, she says, I've been grounded. So she's already, and she's also kind of trolling her parents, her own parents, by saying, I've got these, this is my babysitter's boyfriend because my parents are never around. So these are my kind of like substitute parents. But yeah, great. I mean, terrifying as well. As a parent, you kind of think, oh my goodness, this is what we've got coming to us, Tim. This is what's going to happen.
I mean, I love it in so many ways. It's the Nepo baby angle, which of course is very popular online. Love it, just doesn't know how to cook, not bad from social, but still gets this up.
And she obviously, like, she was like, look, TikTok's not going to make me famous, so who cares if I post this or not? So, but then what happened was, it wasn't necessarily her TikTok that went viral. It was someone else retweeting it, because I think by the time it had been retweeted a billion times, then her account was already deleted. So she didn't actually go viral herself. It was this I don't know who what's her name, Savannah Bradley. Yeah. So she was just like, I think this has gone a little bit crazier than I initially intended.
65 million views.
Now everyone's saying the dynasty, the Coppola dynasty is like, alive and well, and it will, continue on with this 16-year-old as well. She's only 16. But she clearly knows how to work the camera, doesn't she? And like work her parents.
Haven't we all, when we were kids, trying to, buy a helicopter, rent a helicopter to fly?
That's the best bit. We haven't even mentioned it yet. So the reason she was grounded was because she tried to charter a helicopter from New York and put it on her dad's credit card.
So the next story, I loved this. We've all seen this on social media, particularly Twitter, where people, should we say, borrow or are very steal. Okay, we can call it steal. And this is literally a case of stealing, let's be honest, about a story. And this is a woman called Karen who posted this video, this image of daffodils, and basically explained that her husband had mistakenly put in the fridge some daffodils, thinking they're spring onions, and got quite a few 19,000 likes. That's pretty good. But everything wasn't exactly how it seems, Hannah. It turns out that it's actually someone else's story and picture from a couple of years ago. A woman called Helen, who had posted this story and had, with exactly the same picture. All it is just been slightly cropped, but it is exactly the same picture. And
which is just a bit rubbish, isn't it? It's like if you're gonna duplicate something and copy something, I mean, she could have at least bought some daffodils and taken a bloody picture on her own.
I know. I mean, what happened is Helen replied to this woman, and others then saw it and jumped in as is the way on social media. And apparently they were getting blocked by this woman, and then she muted, and then she turned off replies. Helen, to be fair, just said, no one's offended, just a gog at why you would pass it off as your own and respond to people as if it's your original tweet when it's not. Not crediting the original post is pretty poor form.
Yeah,
that's true. I think that's really true. But the point is, on social media, as we've seen with the examples of with the Kim Kardashian, people care more about the original and what they want to believe than necessarily the reality of what's happening. Yeah,
I mean, so was it Claire? Was that her name? The person who posted? Anyway, so I kind of like feel for her in a way. I mean, I feel a bit sorry for her because it's a bit sad, isn't it? You've kind of like tried to say something funny and claim it's your own, and it's like it's no harm done, as Helen's rightly pointed out, no harm there, but it's just a bit sad, I think. And Helen, it's just like, well, kind of get over it, which she clearly clearly has, or it's Karen. She clearly has got over it, but it's just like, where do we draw the line around being precious over the content that we put on social media? And if you're putting content on social media for your business, then obviously I can understand why you'd be like, don't you dare, like, that's copyright, don't take that away or don't claim it as your own, because that's my business and it's driving business towards me or away from me. But for this, it's just like, clearly, I mean, I'm assuming no one's making any money out of trying to fob off daffodils for spring onions. So it's just a bit of like, it's just a bit petty. It's kind of like playground antics. So overall, I'm like, I feel sorry for Karen that she felt the need to do it in the first place. I feel sorry that she's been called out on it because it must be really embarrassing. And I kind of think Helen should get over it.
Well, to be fair to Helen, she says she's not upset in the slightest. What happened, again, the nature of social media, particularly Twitter, everyone piles in, making assumptions about what she thinks. And she said she found the whole thing hilarious and flattered. And she said, me and Karen are cool. It's you who needs to chill. So,
yeah, maybe it's us. Maybe we need to chill. We shouldn't be highlighting it at all. Like, Helen and Karen are best mates. They're surrounded in a field of daffodils, having a lovely time, and we need to just not highlight the fact that this went viral at all.
Well, one last one that went viral this week, and I absolutely love this one. Again, this could be happening to us in a short time.
So this was one woman who posted on Twitter the text messages she'd received from her parents. And clearly her parents had had a few drinks, and she then outed them and basically put all of their messages to her on, I don't know what platform it was.
Twitter,
was it Twitter? Oh, yeah, it's on Twitter. Okay, and and it's just quite funny. So hopefully we can bring it up here, so you can see there the mum saying, "Hi, love. Dad and I've been on the margaritas. Everything okay there?" And then the dad's also messaged saying, "So I'm listening to Chain by Fleetwood Mac. You are in the privileged position of having this and everything which followed. My question is, do you have..." And then they leave us hanging. She leaves us hanging. We're like, well, what was the question from Dad? We're all desperate to know. These drunk parents, goodness knows how old they are, but drunk on margaritas, just, questioning life and what happens after Fleetwood Mac.
Mia Hughes, a musician called Mia Hughes, did post the full text message later on and said, "You're in the privileged position of hearing Fleetwood Mac and everything that followed. Have you heard anything as good as this?"
Oh, there we go. What's the thing that you would say, like if you're having this conversation with your daughter in, I don't know, let's say 20 years time or something like that, and you're drunk, what would be the thing that you'd be like, you don't know how lucky you are to have Oasis and all that Britpop
It's
or whatever it
probably
is.
me now with Heart 90s, to be honest. And look how good these songs are compared to nowadays.
Yeah, I love a bit of magic. I mean, I was born in the 80s, but I still love a bit of magic and kind of like going back to the 70s as well. It's like even before my time or before I was conscious of it all. 80s, I just think, yeah, mischief. Like my son will just never know. I mean, and he will because I will force it on him, but he will never know the true beauty of 80s music and culture.
Well,
it's just too good. Big hair,
to
great music.
To be fair, my 3-year-old now has been subjected to magic and my poorly music tastes for the last 3 years, and now will say sometimes when the song comes on, don't like that, or I do like this one. So yeah, you know, she's really forming quite early on an opinion on music.
Sonny's got an obsession with Freddie Mercury and Queen. Been going on for a really, really long time. Yeah, about a year now of singing "We Will Rock You" most mornings, and tapping it out. All of that. So yeah, I don't have much that I'll be able to say in my drunken haze in my sort of 50s and 60s. Oh, son, you have no idea how lucky you are to have X, Y, and Z, because he's pretty into all of his music.
So next on the show, what it's like to go viral. And we're joined, delighted to be joined today by Tat Effby, who has been going viral, not just this week, but for several months with her amazing videos on TikTok. Let's just show you one of them that's caught our eye last week.
This is a Pringles lid. This is a salsa jar. This is a cocoa tub lid. This is a wine glass. This is my new hobby. This is another cocoa tub lid. This is a pint glass. Oh, I love it. This is a crisp tub lid. This is a Starbucks mug. It's pretty much the perfect hobby. Doesn't cost anything. There's no waste. It's vaguely useful, and it gives me something to think about other than the screaming voices in my head.
Tat, it's so good to have you with us. Known as the CakeToonist, and you're a cartoonist, I think, in your as your day job, or I don't know, maybe TikTok's now the day job. Who knows?
Yeah, so I'm 50-50 at the moment. It's cake and toon pretty much throughout the day. Is 50-50.
Well, just talk me through how the lid thing first came about, because obviously in the videos you seem genuinely kind of like, delighted that this works. And for me as well, I was just like, this is a lid hack, a life hack, and I absolutely love this. This could have almost fitted into our Moment of Mindfulness section on this podcast, because it's just such a joy to watch. How did you discover it?
I think it's something I've been doing for a while, actually. I've been finding lids because I do a lot of, a lot of baking. So there's always little bits left over, and a lot of it's experimental. So finding lids to keep things, okay for a bit. I don't know, there's just something very satisfying about it. And I've been storing up a few versions of this. So, it was becoming a genre. And then the ones that made me think, actually, I'm ready to share these now, was when I got the Pringles lid fitting on the salsa jar. Because salsa jars, I don't know if you've ever tried to reuse a salsa jar, but the lid has the scent. It's delicious. It has the smell of the salsa absolutely ingrained in the lid. So you can't actually store anything alternative in a salsa jar without it sort of
other than maybe a plant or something like that.
Or your caramel sauce or something like that. So when the Pringles lid fit on the salsa jar, the reaction that you see on the video was pretty much exactly how I reacted in real life. And then when I realized that the massive Haribo tub fit on my KitchenAid mixer bowl, I thought, okay, I think we're good to go on this, because those sort of things work better when you just keep building and you keep building. You go, look at this one, then look at this one, look at this one. And I thought, okay, I've got a really good handful here. And honestly, if no one else gets this, I don't care, because it makes me so happy.
Well, you say you don't care, but like the podcast is called Sorry You Went Viral, but it sounds like you're not sorry at all. And it was almost kind of like, intended. I mean, did you think it would get as big as it did?
I thought it would probably resonate with others. I didn't appreciate that it would go as big as it had gone, because you know, you never know, like with the algorithm, it might connect with people, but you don't know if enough of the people it connects with then share it or like or comment, that sort of indicates to the algorithm you should show other people this. So I've sort of been doing this for over a year now. So I kind of like, if I've got an idea that I think, oh, I think people might like this, there's no point in having any expectations over the fact that, you know, maybe a handful of people will get what you're on about. And so if you do sort of then start sort of, it starts mushrooming and sort of going viral, that's just fun, you know, and I think what you've got to do is sort of learn that it doesn't matter if it just dies, because, you know, did you have fun doing it? Did it reach a few people who made you feel less alone and less strange, that you know, you also appreciate this?
Presumably, though, it's not just about, I mean, it's obviously about having a lot of fun with it as well, like you said. But you said you've been doing this for about a year now. This isn't the first time, I'm sure we'll get into this. This isn't the first time you've gone viral as well. But so have you found that in creating content for social media and creating quality content that is going to be, you know, potentially go viral, that is it helping to drive, you know, people towards your business as well? Is this turning into something that's actually profitable?
I make a small amount of money out of it. I think profit is too strong a word, from the Creative Fund. It's not, it's really sort of this, there's no easy answer as to why I started doing all this. I'd spent a couple of years being told that book projects weren't getting anywhere because I had no social media following. I spent 4 years trying to get on the Great British Bake Off. And on my 4th rejection, I was like, okay, that's not going to happen. So I just need to maybe mash the two things together. So I know I'll never get bored of cake and creating new cakes. I've been told I need a bigger social media presence. Let's just do the two things together. Obviously, the CakeToonist, it was a pun I couldn't let go. So I just sort of, you know, I did this. And going back to, is it profitable? Is it useful to me? It is now becoming more useful because I think people pay a little bit more attention to my projects. They all bubble in the background. You know, I don't share those on social media because it's not the sort of thing you talk about until it was actually, you know, a thing. Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of like, it's been a long, slow process, but it's sort of slowly getting to the point where it becomes something tangible in the real world rather than just fun, you know, presence that you're putting out, you know, kind of going, hi, this is me.
And who knows? I mean, maybe Prue and Paul will come calling now. I mean,
I think the likelihood of either of them coming calling, if they ever see my impressions of them with the cardboard masks I made of them, no. I think if there's a blacklist, I'm on it.
Well, slightly related, I guess, in terms of to what celebrity links is your amazing numbers. 14 million views for your cake, which I can't remember exactly, the biscotti shortbread.
Yeah,
but
yes, caramel and biscoff cheesecake,
which looked amazing. But hidden in there, you chat or jokingly talk about Peter Capaldi being your husband, and now as I check this, that you Google your name and Peter Capaldi, you come up in search results. Can you just explain to us exactly what happened there?
This is one of those things. Sometimes if I'm going out and I'm recording a video, I'll have an idea in my head what I think the narration's going to be. This one I didn't, apart from it was genuinely my husband's birthday cake. But obviously, well, not obviously, my husband doesn't really want to appear on camera. He doesn't want to be on TikTok. So as a joke, I said, and if you're interested who my husband is, and I didn't say that it's Peter Capaldi, I put a picture up of Peter Capaldi because, like, you know, who wouldn't want to be married to Peter Capaldi? He's one of the best doctors. He's amazing. And I just thought it'd be funny. And I thought it would be obvious it's Peter Capaldi, and also fairly obvious I'm not married to him. And later in the video, because this sort of Doctor Who theme evolved, and it was also, I think it went out on the 60th anniversary or around about the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who. That was a coincidence. I should have known. And later in the video, I joke about a bowl I used looking like Matt Smith's red fez. And as I was recording the voice there, I went, oh, I could say that he was my previous husband. So I thought if anyone had made it through that long, the video, they'd probably get that I was definitely joking about one or both of the husbands. So what then happened was, as the video sort of got bigger and bigger, people were then presumably going, but is she married to Peter Capaldi? So enough people Googled my name and Peter Capaldi, or my name and husband, that, as you say, it now appears on a Google search. And I'm going to have
to be honest, Tat, if before this interview started and before you started telling the full story, I was going to ask you whether Peter Capaldi was your husband. So I can kind of understand where some people might have got lost, but I mean, I suppose I feel sorry that your husband went viral, because he clearly didn't want to, whether you wanted to or not.
He's fine with it. I think if he'd been in it, he'd have been probably a bit more annoyed, but no, he thought it was funny, and he thinks it's great. Good. You know, he's behind it, so it's great. Yeah. Obviously, when a video gets that big, you can't keep on top of the comments. Like the nice ones, obviously the terrible ones you just ignore or you delete, but the nice ones you can't even keep on top of. So thankfully, other people were coming to my aid and going, dude, on her profile, it says a dry sense of humor. She was joking, you know, that sort of thing. So other people were helping me out to kind of go, it was a joke.
Just quick thought. You did mention there about like some of the horrible messages that you get. Is that what the negative side is, the downside of going viral then?
To be honest now, because I've sort of had big videos probably for just less than a year. Like I first had my first 1 million plus, I think in June last year. And that was a really divisive video because it used a microwave. So I made millionaire shortbread exclusively in the microwave. And I think, and it made certain people so angry that, you know, they felt so angry they were compelled to tell me how cross they were about microwaves in general, or how, you know, there's absolutely no way that recipe could work, blah, 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 blah. From that point on, I was like, okay, you can't deal, you know, you just have to let these people burn themselves out in the comments. And I said, you can block and you can delete, and that's fine. And so when I got my next viral video, I was like, it just washes over you. And actually, I find if I'm starting to get, because there's nothing negative in my videos, they're all positive. They might be sarcastic. They're very dry sometimes, but there's no hate in my videos. It's a baking video. So when I start getting weird negative comments or hate, I'm kind of like, I think this is quite a good sign, because the algorithm's putting me in front of people who wouldn't necessarily watch this sort of stuff. So they're compelled to say something terrible. But that just makes me think, well, I wonder if this video is kind of going to grow and grow. So to me now, it's just weird. And you can spot the types of people coming in and, you know, putting in the thing. And you can spot the accounts. They've got no followers. They don't follow anyone. They've created an account to put some hate on someone's video. It's interesting. And I'm an old woman. This stuff doesn't mean anything. It's fine. It's okay. You know, knock yourself out.
Well, you've got the right attitude for sure, and you're doing brilliantly well. So congratulations on the content that you're creating. Tat Effby, the CakeToonist, thank you for joining us on the podcast, and good luck. We look forward to see what you come up with next.
Thanks so much for having me. Thank you.
Next on the show, the final part, the moment of mindfulness. This is where we take a pause and celebrate something that's really brought joy or calmed our lives on social media. And this is brilliant. This, you may have seen, is a music video done by an estate agent from Bedfordshire who was trying to find a way to sell one of the properties that she markets, and has done it in a brilliant way. Her name's Claire Cossey, and she owns an estate agent called Just Knock. And she was trying to sell a house in Bedford, and she's recreated this song. And I'll be honest, Hannah, I hadn't heard of this song. Never Ending Story by Lamar. I'm just saying that I'm too young, I should say.
It's before your time.
And it's not played on Magic.
which means it's definitely before my time, because you're way older than me.
So that's my excuse. But yes, it was called Never Ending Story, but she's called it the Never Ending Property. And I didn't know this as well. I'm doing some research about it. So Claire started her estate agents because actually her primary love was singing, and she used the estate agent job to help finance her love of singing.
Oh, great.
And let's have a look and enjoy this moment of mindfulness.
This old house, there's so much here to see. Living room, all covered with these beams. SRC found fitted and solar panels too. With its own small business, there is so much you can do. The never-ending property. The never-ending property. So much space, and every room's a dream. Dining room, snug games room, and the kitchen.
You get the idea there. This goes on for a good couple of minutes, and it's been posted on YouTube last year, 500,000 views.
Well, well done, her. I mean, it's on for £500,000 as
It
well,
is,
isn't
unfortunately, it's still available. So yes, some work still to be done on selling it, but what a way to promote this, and I absolutely love it, and good on Claire for that.
She's got a good voice. She's got a good voice as well. So, you know, even if she doesn't sell the property, maybe she can sort of like divert her career into something else.
I think
as well.
It's inspiring me to want to sing the theme tune to our show.
Yeah.
Or maybe not.
Yeah, go on. Yeah, definitely. I've got. I used to do a bit of singing. I can sing a lot as well, so that's why I was like bopping along to her belting that one out there. I'm curious as to why you have put this in the moment of mindfulness, though, because I get that it's kind of like it's got the feel good factor, but it's quite. I don't know. I feel a bit stressed kind of watching it, even though it's kind of like it's a calm song, and she's singing it in a kind of very chilled out kind of way. But I'm anxious for her. I'm anxious that is she going to trip over the dining room table leg or something like that as she's walking around? And I don't know. I felt a bit anxious.
I'm sorry. Obviously, we may have to review the name of the segment then. Clearly, if it's not, it's causing angst. But that ends today's show, this week's show. Thanks so much for listening and for watching. Again, you can get this podcast on all your podcast platforms, and you can watch the video on YouTube where you can see some of the things we talk about. And again, follow us on our social platforms. Sorry You Went Viral on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and you can see some of the best bits from this week's show.